dive into an inspiring story set amidst the breathtaking beauty of the Great Barrier Reef. Follow Sophie, a passionate marine biologist, as she embarks on a transformative journey to study, document, and protect the world's largest coral reef system. Through vivid underwater adventures, challenges, and moments of awe, this tale captures the fragility of nature, the resilience of life, and the urgent need for conservation. A powerful narrative about hope, connection, and our shared responsibility to protect Earth's treasures. Please subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon for new update. The boat rocked gently on the turquoise waters of the Coral Sea, its motor humming softly as it cut through the morning calm. Sophie leaned over the side, her hand trailing in the warm water, marveling at the clarity that revealed a kaleidoscope of life below. Fish of every shape and color darted among the coral heads, and she could make out the intricate patterns of the reef, a living mosaic stretching as far as the eye could see. She had dreamed of this moment for years. As a marine biologist, Sophie had studied countless photos and documentaries about the Great Barrier Reef, but nothing had prepared her for its grandeur in person. The air was salty and thick, with the scent of the sea, mingled with the faint aroma of sunscreen and engine oil. Around her, the rest of the research team busied themselves with equipment, their chatter mingling with the cries of distant seabirds. "You ready for this?" asked Ben, her colleague and longtime friend. He was adjusting his dive mask, his sun-bleached hair sticking out from under a weathered cap. Sophie nodded, a mix of excitement and nervousness bubbling inside her. "More than ready. Let's go find some wonders." Their mission was twofold: to document the health of the reef and to assess the impact of rising ocean temperatures on coral ecosystems. Sophie had dedicated her career to studying marine life, but she had never been this close to the delicate balance she sought to protect. This wasn't just research for her. It was a deeply personal quest to understand and safeguard one of the world's most precious natural treasures. She slipped into her wetsuit, the neoprene clinging to her skin as she adjusted her gear. The team's guide, a local named Kai, briefed them on the dive site. "This area is still pretty pristine," he said, pointing to a spot on the map. "But even here, you'll see some signs of stress. It's not like it used to be." Sophie's heart sank at his words, but she pushed the thought aside. There was work to do. She adjusted her oxygen tank and followed the team to the edge of the boat. One by one, they slipped into the water, the cool embrace of the ocean washing over them. As Sophie descended, the world transformed. The sun's rays danced through the water, illuminating the vibrant coral gardens below. Parrotfish nibbled at the corral, their bright scales catching the light. Schools of silver fish shimmered like liquid mercury, weaving effortlessly through the labyrinth of coral branches. Sophie felt a profound sense of awe and reverence. This was not just a reef. It was a living, breathing entity teeming with life and resilience. But as they swam deeper, the signs of stress became evident. Sophie's trained eyes picked out patches of coral bleaching, the once vivid structures now ghostly white. She stopped to photograph a particularly stark area, her heart heavy with the knowledge of what it meant. Rising sea temperatures were stripping the coral of the symbiotic algae that gave it life and color. Without action, these vibrant ecosystems could become barren wastelands. The team worked methodically, taking samples, measuring temperatures, and documenting everything they saw. Kai led them to a deeper section of the reef where a massive coral bommy rose like an underwater mountain. It was a breathtaking sight, adorned with swaying anemones and bustling with marine life. A green sea turtle glided gracefully past, its shell a patchwork of intricate patterns. Sophie followed the turtle, mesmerized by its movement. It led her to a small crevice where a shy clownfish peeked out from its anemone home. She smiled behind her mask, feeling a surge of hope. Despite the challenges, life found a way to persist. As they surfaced, the team exchanged observations. "The bleaching's worse than I expected," Ben said, his voice tinged with concern. "But there's still so much life here. We can't give up on this place." Back on the boat, Sophie reviewed the photos and data they had collected. Each image told a story: the vibrant colors of healthy coral, the stark white of bleached sections, the dynamic interplay of marine species. She felt a deep sense of responsibility to share these stories with the world, to inspire action before it was too late. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, the team gathered around a small campfire on the beach. Kai shared tales of his childhood, when the reef had been even more vibrant and abundant. "We used to think it would always be here," he said, his voice filled with nostalgia. "But now we know it's fragile. It needs us as much as we need it." Sophie listened intently, her mind racing with ideas. She thought about the interconnectedness of the reef's ecosystem, how each species played a role in maintaining its balance. She thought about the people who depended on the reef not just for their livelihoods, but for their identity and culture. The next day, they returned to the water. This time, Sophie felt a renewed sense of purpose. She focused not just on documenting the problems, but also on capturing the beauty and resilience of the reef. She photographed a manta ray gliding gracefully through the water, its massive wings undulating like a ballet. She recorded the playful antics of a pod of dolphins, their clicks and whistles echoing through the ocean. As the days turned into weeks, Sophie's connection to the reef deepened. She began to see it not just as a subject of study, but as a partner in a shared journey. She wrote detailed notes about the species she encountered, the subtle changes she observed, and the moments that took her breath away. Her journal became a testament to the reef's magnificence and its vulnerability. One afternoon, while exploring a particularly remote section of the reef, the team stumbled upon something unexpected, a patch of coral that seemed to defy the odds. Unlike the bleached sections they had seen, this area was thriving, its colors impossibly vivid. Sophie knelt beside a cluster of coral, her fingers gently brushing the water above it. "How is this possible?" she murmured, her voice filled with wonder. Kai grinned. "Resilient species," he said. "Some corals are adapting to the warmer temperatures. It's a sign of hope." Sophie felt a surge of inspiration. If these corals could adapt, perhaps there was a way to help the reef as a whole. She thought about the research being done on coral restoration, about the potential for human intervention to support natural resilience. For the first time in weeks, she felt a glimmer of optimism. As their expedition drew to a close, Sophie found herself changed. The reef had not only deepened her understanding of marine ecosystems, but also awakened something within her. She felt a profound sense of interconnectedness, a realization that humanity's fate was tied to the health of the natural world. On the final evening, the team gathered to share their findings and reflect on their journey. Sophie stood, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "The Great Barrier Reef is more than a place," she said. "It's a reminder of what we stand to lose and what we can still save. We have the knowledge and the tools. Now we need the will to act." As she spoke, the sound of waves lapping against the shore filled the silence. The reef, vast and ancient, seemed to listen. In the days that followed, Sophie returned home, but the reef remained with her. She gave talks, wrote articles, and collaborated on projects to raise awareness and funds for conservation. Her photos and stories captivated audiences, bringing the reef's beauty and fragility to life. Years later, Sophie stood on the deck of another boat, this time leading a group of young scientists on their first expedition to the reef. The sun rose over the horizon, casting its golden light on the water. She felt a sense of hope as she looked at their eager faces, knowing that the reef's story would continue to inspire and that its future was, in part, in their hands. The Great Barrier Reef was a testament to the resilience of life, a fragile masterpiece worth every effort to protect. And Sophie knew that as long as there were people who cared, its colors would never fade from the world's memory.